If you're a beginner, you need to watch this video. I'm going to be showing you a beginner full face makeup, everything you need to know. So first of all, you're going to make sure you start with a clean face. So I'm going to be using the Nia Makeup Beauty cleanser to clean her face. This process is very important because we don't want to start off with a dirty face or uncleaned face. So the next thing we're going to be doing is priming. We're going to be priming her face. I'm using the TM Essential Primer. This is also like a moisturizer 2-in-1. It's very nice. I love it. The next thing I'm going to be using is a Zikel primer. It's like a matte primer. So I'm just going to be putting that on the areas that I know that she will sweat. So this does not guarantee that you will not sweat. It just helps reduces the sweat. So this thing I'm going to be using is my Rimmel matte primer. So I'm just putting this on her T-zones and to also help hold in that sweat. So the next thing is foundation. This is a very simple technique for beginners. You don't need too much product. If you don't have the Rimmel or the Zikel, you can still go with the TM Essential. Whichever primer you have would go. It depends on how you apply your makeup. So I'm just applying the foundation evenly on her face. Remember to always dab and don't drag, and a little product goes a long way. You don't have to use too much product. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is concealer. Of course, I think everybody knows this part. So I'm going to be using like 2 shades lighter than her skin tone for the concealer. If you want a full coverage concealer, just let it sit for a few minutes and then you start blending. But if you don't want the full coverage, you can just dab immediately after applying your concealer. But for a beginner, you can always leave that concealer to sit for a few minutes. Going in with my setting spray to just soak everything in. So I'm going to be dabbing now. As you can see, I'm not dragging the concealer. I'm just dabbing into her skin. This is going to blend beautifully when you do this. For the under eye, when blending, I recommend you just dab in in a particular place you applied your concealer. Do not drag. If you want that full coverage, just keep dabbing and let it sink into the skin. So the next thing I'm going to be doing, because I want a bright under eye for this look, is like a birthday glam. So I'm going to be adding extra concealer, a little bit lighter than her skin shade. We're also going to leave this to sit for a few minutes, to have that full coverage, because I like my under eyes to be bright. So I'm going to be placing my blush in the right places. If you're as a beginner, you can skip the liquid blush because the liquid blush can be very tricky. You can always apply your blush right after your whole makeup, like the powder blush, because the liquid blush, I feel like for a beginner, it's very tricky and it can make things messy for you. But if you want to give it a try, there's no harm in trying. So I'm just blending this and the areas that I want it to, stick. As you can see, that is what I'm doing. I'm just dabbing and I'm not dragging. So now that my concealer has been sitting for a while, I'm just going to blend it out. As you can see, I'm just dabbing. Please excuse the background noise. My toddler is just all over me. She doesn't even want to leave. I've gone to different places. She follows me everywhere. So please ignore the background noise. So the next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be using a compact powder and a brush to press in the concealer that we just blended, as you can see. And another tip I want to give is immediately you blend your concealer, you want to go in with your compact powder. If your concealer has stayed for a while, I want you to go in with your beauty blender all over again, to avoid any creasing under the eye, because once you leave the concealer, you can notice a little bit of creasing. Before you apply your compact powder, always go in with your beauty blender again to smoothen everything out before applying your compact powder. I hope you understood what I just said, and that is going to give you a seamless powder application. So yeah, here we're just applying powder. As you can see, this is very self-explanatory. So the next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be applying my setting powder. You know, your compact powder and your setting powder is different. So I'm going to be applying my setting powder, that same area that I want to highlight. So I'm going to be leaving this setting powder and doing other skin work on her face while it bakes. I guess that's what it's supposed to do. So I'm going to be using the compact powder all over our face and other areas to, you know, set the face or put the face in place. Like I said earlier, as a beginner, if the liquid blush is a bit tricky for you, this is the part where you can apply a compact blush. So I'm going to be going in with my compact powder to, you know, contour the places that I'm supposed to contour. As you can see, I didn't use a liquid contour. I prefer using a powder, compact powder that is a bit darker than the skin shade, and you know, use it as a contour effect. So I'm just contouring the nose. Before we go further, you can use your compact powder to contour and highlight if the liquids are a bit, you know, distracting and all of that as a beginner. But anyways, let's continue. So I'm just doing her brows. I'm just following the shape of her brows. Lucky for me, she already carved her brows before coming, so I'm just following the shape of her eyebrows. I guess everybody already knows how to do eyebrows, but if you want me to do an eyebrow tutorial, let me know in the comment section. I would love to do that for you. So I'm just going in with my brow pencil, following the shape of her brows. This is very important. You don't need to go extra, especially when you're doing a bridal or a birthday glam. You just follow the shape and make it look sharp and, you know, very light or very okay. It depends on your style and your client's, you know, style. So now that we are done with her eyebrows, I'm just going to be, you know, going in to clean up any extras around the brows. Normally I just clean the under part of the brows because I try to make everything seamless. So I'm just trying to make, you know, give it a more defined look. If that's the word. I'm just giving it a more defined look, and this helps make the brows, you know, really stand out. As a beginner, I'm going to, you know, tell you to always hold your breath when doing this part. It helps a lot. So I'm just going to be using a lighter shade of powder on her brow bone, you know, to give it that highlight. You can use a highlighter to do this, but using a lighter shade of powder gives me like a more subtle look. I don't know, that's just how I feel. So I'm going to be going into the eyes now. So we're going to be doing not really bright, but you know, bold eyes. So I'm just going to be blending this concealer out. You can use the concealer as your eyeshadow base, or if you have an eyeshadow base, that's also perfect. But this is a beginner tutorial, so we're making use of what, as a beginner, whatever you have around you, you can make use of it. So I'm just using a concealer, the concealer I used earlier on her face for the eyeshadow base. So I'm going to be going in with a dark brown base, and I'm just going to say this, I'm using this compact powder. That's what I'm using for her eyes also. So as a beginner, if you have just a compact powder, you can also slay an eyeshadow look. Do you get? So I'm just using that compact powder, the darkest shade in that compact powder for her base. You can, makeup is very versatile. You can use different things around you to, you know, incorporate into your makeup routine. You just have to be very creative with it. So after applying the dark powder, I'm going to be going in with this shimmer. I've had this shimmer for a very long time. I don't know what the name is, but I'm going to be going in with this shimmer, and I have a little bit of trick. I'm also going to be using this shimmer. I'm just going to be mixing both of them together. So if you don't have a glitter glue, you can go in with your lip gloss as a glitter glue. Do you understand? So that's what I'm doing here. I have a glitter glue, but as a beginner, I want everything to be easy for you. Everything around you, you'll be able to use. So this is a lip gloss I'm using. I already applied it evenly on her face. On her I applied it evenly on her eyes where we applied a dark eyeshadow. So I'm applying the so sorry for that. I'm applying the glitter or the eyeshadow. I've forgotten what the name is. Mom brain. I'm trying to remember, but the little bottle I just showed you, I'm applying that. As you can see, it's holding it very, very well. So if you don't have a glitter glue, this can also work perfectly for you as a beginner. So I'm just going to be topping this on top of it just to, give it a little bit of shine. Not that it was really that obvious, but I just wanted to give it a little bit of shine. So if you're still here, you've watched to this extent, please don't forget to subscribe, share this video, and leave me a thumbs up. I'll really appreciate it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be doing is dusting off any excess. There wasn't really much of a fallout, but I'm just dusting off any excess that might have fallen on her face. I'm using a clean, fluffy brush that is very easy to use. So the next thing we're going to be doing is liner, of course, because we don't want it to be bare. You want it to have like it's sitting on top of something you get. If it looks bare, it doesn't look really good. So you have to apply your liner just on the base. And she already has lash extension on, so there's no need for lashes, and the lash extension was done by me. So yeah, hit me up if you need a lash extension. So I'm just going to be using a black or a dark shadow like you just saw me do, or dip in, just to smudge that eyeliner to give it that smudge look, and also make it stay in place for a longer period. So that's just what I'm doing here. So I'm just, dragging it in the outer corner a bit to give it that, winged look, but not too much. It's just going to, give it that look. And I'm also using same brown under her eyes, to give it the smoky effect, if you know what I mean. So the next thing we're going to be doing is lips. So this is basically self-explanatory. You can watch it and you can understand without me explaining or saying anything in the background. So first of all, we all know that you have to line your lips with at least a brown lip liner. So that is what I am doing here. Just, trying to get the shape of her lip and lining the lip with a brown lip liner. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to be going in with this pinkish baby pink lip stain in the middle. I really don't want anything too shouty because her eyes is already loud enough. So this is basically enough for me. So I'm going to be applying lip gloss. Like, who doesn't love lip gloss? Unless your client wants the matte lipstick. But lip gloss always make everything subtle. So the next thing we're going to be doing is highlighting. So I'm going to be highlighting with the Zikel and Fade Artistry highlighter. This highlighter is so nice. I love it. So just a little goes a long way, like I said. A little, that is what I'm using here, just a little, and you can see that glow. Like, you can see that glow. I don't need to tell you that glow it's glowing. So you can always skip this part, but I feel like this part is always the part that brings out the makeup, especially when you're going for a bridal or a birthday or a glam look. I feel like the highlighter it's that one product that brings out the whole look. So the next thing we're going to be doing is applying our finishing spray. There's a difference with a setting spray and a finishing spray. So I'm applying the finishing spray, and then I'm just going to dry it up because it has a really strong smell. So guys, let's have it. This is the final look. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and if this was helpful, please don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and comment. I'll be so grateful, and I'll be in the comment section ready to answer any questions that you have. So yeah, this is it. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.